please focus your highlighting and annotating on theme development as well as character development. So I've included a list of the themes that we're looking for: friendship, responsibility for others, poverty and exploitation of the lower class, and sacrifice. So as you annotate and make your comments this week, those are the themes that you're looking out for. And we will figure out over the course of the next couple of weeks what our author is trying to tell us about friendship, responsibility for others, and so on. So I'll do a couple of pages. As always, you're welcome to use my annotations and my comments on your own assignment, or you're welcome to do it on your own. The bunkhouse was a long rectangular building. Inside, the walls were whitewashed and the floor unpainted. In 3 walls, there were small, square windows, and in the 4th, a solid door with a wooden latch. Against the walls were 8 bunks, 5 of them made up with blankets, and the other 3 showing their burlap ticking. Over each bunk, there was nailed an apple box with the opening forward so that it made 2 shelves for the personal belongings of the occupant of the bunk. And these shelves were loaded with little articles: soap and talcum powder, razors, and those Western magazines ranchmen love to read and scoff at and secretly believe. And there were medicines on the shelves and little vials, combs, and from nails on the box sides, a few neckties. Near one wall, there was a black cast iron stove, its stovepipe going straight up through the ceiling. In the middle of the room stood a big square table littered with playing cards on it, and around it were grouped boxes for the players to sit on. Now, this is definitely a description of the setting, and it's telling me where the ranch hands live in the bunkhouse. That's a little historical context for you. And so I might highlight or underline some of this, especially the way that they live. Whoops, that should be underlined. Um, this is showing the way that they live. Basically, they're 8 to a room, obviously, 5 of them made up of blankets, and the other 3 where the stuffing is coming out of their blankets. And then on the bunk, their shelves are really an apple box with the opening forward so that it made 2 shelves for their personal belongings. And that's all the personal space that they get. So that might even contribute to the idea of poverty, because this is where the ranch hands live, and this is their home. So I might put a note here that this is going to relate to that idea of poverty because this is how the ranch hands live. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, the sun threw a bright, dust-laden bar through one of the side windows, and in and out of the beam flies shot like rushing stars. The wooden latch raised, the door opened, and a tall, stoop-shouldered old man came in. He was dressed in blue jeans, and he carried a big push broom in his left hand. Behind him came George, and behind George, Lenny. "The boss was expecting you last night," the old man said. "He was sore as hell when you wasn't here to go out this morning." He pointed with right arm, and out of the sleeve came a round stick-like wrist, but no hand. "You can have them 2 beds here," he said, indicating 2 bunks near the stove. Let's see if I can get an actual highlight going on. So here's a description of another of the ranch hands, and he's a stoop-shouldered old man dressed in blue jeans who carried a big push broom in his hand. Again, that should be highlighting or underlining. I also want to point out that this man, he uh, points with his right arm, and out of the sleeve came a round stick-like wrist, but no hand. So you've got an old guy wearing blue jeans, and he's got basically one arm and the other is a stub. And so I'll have to read on to get his name, and then when I do get his name, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the margins. And I know that his name is Candy. So I would annotate and go ahead and put that in the margins. George stepped over and threw his blanket onto the burlap sack of straw that was a mattress. He looked into his box shelf and then picked a small yellow can from it. "Say, what the hell's this?" "I don't know," said the old man. "Says positively kills lice, roaches, and other scourges. What the hell kind of bed you giving us anyway? We don't want no pants rabbits." I definitely want to highlight this. Inside this beautiful bunkhouse and their sad bunks where they're living 8 to a room, with an apple box for a shelf, there's some sort of spray or something that kills lice, roaches, and other scourges. So this is the situation that these men live in, where they need that near their personal belongings. So poverty. This is how the ranch hands live. And again, these are just my notes, my questions, my ideas. So at this point, I might even put a question in there. How do the others live? Is this just life on the ranch, or is this something that is consistent only for the ranch hands, the people who actually work on the ranch versus the owners? So I'm going to stop there, but as you can see, I'm looking for the themes that are listed in this assignment: friendship, responsibility for others, poverty and exploitation of the lower class, and sacrifice. And then, as always, I'm still looking for physical descriptions of the characters, their relationship, dialogue, and their effect on each other. If you have any questions or you'd like to work together on this, please stop by in room 203 or send me an email.